So thank you so much for making me a part of your routine and your list of good habits. My name is Yukti Kapoor Mehndiratha. I am a leadership coach not only by profession but also by passion. I think after having worked for over a decade in my corporate, stint, I realized that it's nobody's fault to not be a good boss or a good manager or a good leader, because nobody has really learned what it takes to become a leader. What are some of the skills that you need to learn to be able to lead people effectively? And so I don't see myself as the only one who was victim of poor leadership, or maybe as a leader I wasn't so great in the way I led my team. And the moment you kind of bring in some knowing, some learning in the way you lead, automatically a lot changes. Most importantly, you change and you become a better person. On that note, welcome once again to Leadership Satsang. Today, we are going to talk about one of the biggest and the most common pain points that we all face, and that is procrastination. Procrastination is when we know we have to do something, but we are just not able to do it. We delay it, we keep postponing it, we keep finding reasons to not do it, right? And we know very well that it is supposed to be done. And the longer it takes for us to get there, the worse it gets for us, right? We feel terrible about ourselves, isn't it? We feel like there is no future. I'm never going to become what I want to become because I don't do what I say I will do. I procrastinate forever, and it has slowed me down in the past, and I know it will hold me back for the future as well. But I am so stuck that I don't know how to get out of this, how to unstuck myself. And that's exactly why I thought we need to bring this podcast out and this session out very, very quickly in the year, right? So that we don't land up procrastinating again this year in the year 2023. So before we get started, let's do a very quick assessment. And this time, today's session, today's live is going to be a workshop, guys. As much as we have just 30 minutes together, trust me, it's enough time with me. If you can really be with me, grab a notebook and a pen and sit tight and listen to the questions I'm going to put out to you and participate in the chat so I know that you're with me and we're together in it. All right. So are you ready to say ready in the chat box? Kamlesh, welcome back. Shubham, hi, good evening to you too. Say ready in the chat box, and I know that you are absolutely ready to be done with procrastination once and for all. And I have a plan for you guys. I'm going to make sure that you do it. I'm going to make sure that you're clear about your action plan to be able to overcome procrastination. But let me see if you are ready. So ready. Are we ready? Super. Looks like a lot of us are ready. Great. So let's get started. We'll start with self-assessment, which means on a scale of 10, 10 being the highest, how much do you think you procrastinate? What is that number for you? Let's put that number out in the chat box, guys. Come on, let's be out with it. Let's put out our self-assessment, because when you do, you motivate and encourage other people also to be out of their closet. Okay, so tell me, on a scale of 10, how much do you think you procrastinate? 10 being the highest, that this is like the highest level of procrastination possible. Where do you see yourself on this scale, guys? Siraj, 6. Super. Let me get a few more numbers. If we don't know the status quo, then there is no way to improve, right? So I see a 10, 4, 7. So 10 is when we procrastinate a lot. Okay, 1 is to say that I don't procrastinate at all. And let me tell you, there isn't anyone who does it. Not even the most successful people you know of, even they procrastinate. So it's okay to do that. What's not okay is to not be aware that you do it. Okay, so awareness is the first step towards improvement. So let's see how many of us are really aware. Deepa, so good to have you again. Saurabh, welcome back. Prabhat, wonderful. Thank you guys for joining in. Rajat, good to see you here today. Wow, so 10 on 10 for Rajat. Hiren, no sweat. We've just started with a self-assessment. Very important question. So you've come in on time. Tell me, Hiren, on a scale of 10, how much do you procrastinate? Wonderful. 5, 8. So I think the average that I see here is 7. Okay, across all my live audience. And let me tell you, today I am going to give out a gift in terms of a solution, a very specific, personalized solution to those who are live with me here today, in this moment. Okay, and I'll tell you how that will work out in a bit. All right, so Justjeet says 7. All right, I think 7 is the average that we'll go ahead with. Okay, let's get ready for the mind map. And as I share mine, as always, please be ready to create your own mind map. Okay, so let's look at some of the reasons why we procrastinate. I'm going to share with you 7 reasons. These 7 reasons pretty much sum up most of the reasons why people procrastinate. Okay. Now, as I take you through these 7 reasons, here is what I want you to do. I want you to again scale on a scale of 10, 10 being the highest. What is your reason to procrastinate? So for all 7 reasons, to what extent is this reason responsible for you to procrastinate? Are you clear about the question? So for example, let me start with the first reason why we procrastinate. The first and the topmost reason really is lack of clarity. When we don't know why we have to do what we have to do, or we don't know what really needs to be done, or we don't know how to do it, we land up procrastinating. We land up keeping it for later. कि okay, आराम से बाद में कर लेंगे. अभी समझ में ही नहीं आ रहा है, clarity नहीं है कि करना क्यों है, करना क्या है, और कैसे करना है. And because of this, we land up procrastinating. If this is your reason to procrastinate, then I want you to rate yourself on the scale of 10. Is that an 8 for you? Is that a 7 for you? What is that number for you? So let's just make a note of it at your end, and also keep sharing in the chat box. Lack of clarity, and in front of that, put your number on a scale of 10. Okay. And as you do this, guys, I want you to take a moment and think about, what are you procrastinating right now as we speak? What are those 2 or 3 things which you're aware that you're procrastinating about these 3 things? Maybe it could be about getting started with exercising. Maybe it's about some project that you need to submit, but it's just not happening. Maybe it's about writing a book that you've been wanting to write. It's a New Year resolution for you every year, but you haven't started with it as yet. What are these 3? Or maybe it's a health checkup that's long due, but you were just procrastinating. What are the 3 areas where you are procrastinating? 3 things that you're procrastinating on. Think about that and then reflect upon the reasons that I'm sharing with you. So lack of clarity is a 2 for Hiren, is a 7 for Siraj. Again, so let me explain the scale. 10 is when this is the biggest reason for procrastination for you. 1 is when this is not really a reason for you to procrastinate. You got that, right? Say, got that in the chat box, guys. I want you to be very clear. This is a workshop. As I said, it's a live workshop with me. So let's dive in with some real serious self-assessment so that you leave the session with a very clear takeaway. And you will know exactly how to kill procrastination. All right. So looks like we're all clear on the same page. Let's get on to the next reason why we procrastinate. And that is poor focus. We are just not able to pay attention. We get distracted very easily, and that's why we land up procrastinating. Now, when that happens, any challenging task or any unpleasant conversation or task or anything that is boring becomes even more difficult to do. You're not up for challenges. You're not up for any unpleasant, tough conversation that you've been procrastinating. And anything that looks boring, you're just not able to take up. So poor focus could be a reason why you procrastinate things. You're just not there as yet. On a scale of 10, how big is this reason for you to procrastinate? Let's look at another one. The third reason is fear. Fear of success, fear of failure, fear of feeling that you are probably not good enough. I want to read this line written by a very famous writer called Marilyn, and she says that our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light and not our darkness that most frightens us. And that is so true. Just so true. We are sometimes so fearful of how much power we have that we settle down with mediocrity. We settle down with doing less. Why? Because being successful also attracts a lot of spotlight, a lot of responsibility, a lot of expectations. And we sometimes feel that we're probably not good enough to be able to deliver to those expectations. So we settle down to play small. And let me tell you, this is not such an active conversation you have with your mind, but it's a deal that you sign without realizing, unless you bring in the light of awareness into your mind and you say, hey, you know what? What's happening? I've been craving for success. But is it that somewhere at the back of my mind, I'm too scared of my light? And I have settled in this dark place that I find myself so comfortable with. So fear of success is a real thing, as much as it is to be fearful of failure or the fear of just not being good enough. That maybe I'm not intelligent enough, maybe I'm not smart enough, maybe I'm not witty enough, maybe I'm not funny enough, right? For some of the other reason, we think we're not good enough, and that keeps us procrastinating forever. On a scale of 10, how big is this a reason for you to procrastinate? It has to be your reason, guys. You might have a few of these, by the way. You might experience all of these, or maybe one of these, doesn't matter. But I need you to keep rating yourself from 1 to 10. All right, let's move to the fourth one. The fourth reason is lack of effective routine. When you don't have a routine, when you don't have a set pattern, a set things to do, or a sequence in which things follow, especially at the start of the day, you could find yourself feeling lost and disoriented. And then what happens is that the task that comes in front of you becomes the task to do. So there is no way you're able to prioritize. You're not able to see too many tasks together. You're only addressing what comes in front of you to realize later that all the important things have been kept aside. Nothing was done today. You kind of land up feeling unproductive at the end of such a day, isn't it? You know, have you seen those days when आप पूरा दिन काम कर रहे हो, पूरा दिन मेहनत कर रहे हो, पूरा दिन आप भागते रहे, लेकिन शाम को जब आप घर पहुंचे तो आपको लगा कि आज किया क्या है? Like, what did I do today? It was so unproductive. And then there are times when you feel energetic even at the end of the day, right? Though you worked, but you're so high on energy and you feel this was such a fantastic, productive day. And the reason for feeling that way is not that you could finish your entire to do list. It's about finishing those few things which were top priority. That 20%, which gives you 80% happiness, satisfaction, results, is what really matters. But for that, there has to be a certain routine. If lack of routine becomes a reason for you to procrastinate, then I want you to give it its due weightage on the scale of 10. All right. So four reasons gone, three more to go. The fifth reason is lack of urgency, which means that you think this task can wait. कोई जल्दी नहीं है, आराम से बाद में कर लेंगे. Right? There is no intrinsic motivation from within. You're not feeling that motivated to be able to do this. You're like, okay, yeah, book लिखनी है, but ठीक है लिखेंगे. ऐसे कोई जल्दी नहीं है. इतनी सारी books हैं. I don't know what to write on. There is nothing unique in my head. Let's see. We'll write when I have more time. We'll write when I earn more money. We'll write when I'm a little older, wiser. So there is no urgency in being able to pick up that task. Is that your reason to procrastinate? The second last one for now, and there are many others, by the way, but these are seven broad reasons that I wanted to share with you today. So the sixth is negative environment. Sometimes if the environment around us is too negative or there is too much friction around, we feel so sapped out of energy, right? We feel low. We feel like we don't want to do anything, right? And that results in pushing everything that we've committed to do, or we know that we need to do, or we should be doing. So everything starts getting pushed and delayed because the environment around is not conducive, not supportive, and makes you feel like nothing is worth it. And hence your energy levels are low. And that could also be a reason why you procrastinate. And the last one for now, as a broad category, the way I see it, is mental overload. When there are just too many unfinished tasks and you're feeling so overwhelmed about it, like everything is left unfinished. You needed to get some repair work done at home, it's not completely done. There is some contract that had to be signed that's not totally in place. You were supposed to make a few calls, not all calls are done. Right? So everywhere there is something unfinished, something incomplete. And that makes you feel absolutely lost, because of which you'll end up procrastinating even more. All right. So with your individual scores in place, here is what I would like you to do. I want you to see which is the biggest reason for you to procrastinate. What's your biggest reason? Give me a number from 1 to 8. What's your biggest reason to procrastinate as per your own scoring? Let's see. Lack of urgency. No, I want you to just share with me your biggest reason to procrastinate. Negative environment. Deepa, you're suggesting number 6 reason, which is negative environment. Is that a yes? Okay. Mental overload for Hiren. Negative environment. All right. What else? Lack of urgency. Not urgent. Okay. Number 4 for Saurabh, which is lack of effective routine. All right. Okay. Focus. Lack of focus for Ravindra. Mental overload, Siraj. Let's see which is a common one coming out, and I'll tell you what we're going to do with that. So keep that going. Poor focus. I want someone from my team, Bharat or Raj, just have a look at the most common reason, and then we'll go deeper into that. Okay, let's see what my live audience wants me to cover today, and I'm going to go deeper into that. There is a way to overcome each one of these reasons, but of course, with another 15 minutes to go, we cannot cover it all. But I do want to cover one of these much in detail so that you know exactly what you need to do to overcome procrastination. Focus and routine. Shalini, whoever, whatever you're going to ask for as majority is what I'm going to go deeper into. All right, so keep that going while I take you to the next and a very important part of the discussion, which is the what of procrastination. What is procrastination? Before I get into the how of it, how to overcome, is something that we will talk about, especially for the reason that is most common with my live audience right now. But what really does procrastination even mean? To my mind, there are two things that we understand when we see procrastination. Some of us feel it's about lack of motivation to do anything. I talked about it earlier as well as one of the reasons. We think that I'm not motivated enough to do it, and so I'm not doing it, and so it gets procrastinated, right? But here is one thing that you need to understand about motivation. And listen to this very carefully, guys, because it's very, very important to understand what motivation is and what it is not. Motivation doesn't lead to action, action leads to motivation. I will say this again. Motivation doesn't lead to action, action leads to motivation. When you do something despite not feeling like doing it, that action in itself motivates you to keep going on. So remember that day in the morning when you woke up and you said, again, I don't feel like going to the gym, but somehow you got dressed up and you left your house and you were in the gym with dumbbells in your hand or running on the treadmill, and 5 minutes down, you were so into your regime that you forgot your lack of motivation with which you started this whole process. The same holds true with any project that you get started with, or a book that you pick up to read finally, the one that you bought 5 months back on somebody's recommendation. And today you just picked it up and you just started reading, going beyond not feeling like reading it. Feeling is a very, very overestimated thing, guys. In fact, for leaders, there is no room for feeling. We can feel whatever we may want to feel as humans. But if we are a true leader, we know how to go beyond that. We feel and yet we do what we commit to do. We feel and yet we show up. We could feel like doing this or that, and yet we do what we should. And that's what self discipline means. That's what it's all about. Self discipline is when you do what you want to do and what you know you have to do, even if you don't feel like doing it. And that's also a quality of a leader. So motivation comes from action, doesn't lead you into action, right? Now, the second misunderstanding, if I may say, about procrastination is our flawed thinking. It comes from our flawed thinking. There are two flaws in our thinking. The first flaw says, my future self will do what needs to be done. I don't need to do it at present. I will do this tomorrow. As much as we all know there is no tomorrow, but we think that there will be this tomorrow when I will finally do it. Or there will be this me who will be more motivated to do this tomorrow. And hence we keep pushing it out to the next day, which never comes. So that is the flaw in our thinking. If we think that the me of tomorrow is going to fix what needs to be fixed today, whatever you need to do today can only be done today. There is no tomorrow or future you that will ever do it if the present you is not committed to doing it, is not able to go beyond the feeling or not feeling like doing it. So that's one flaw that you must look at. The second flaw in our thinking is that it's okay to just survive. We don't need to thrive. In fact, survival is what is common between us and animals. It is our ability to navigate through these feelings, our ability to do more, ask for more, create more, that makes us human, that makes us so special, that makes us a superior species, if I may dare to say so. Right? So, by just holding ourselves back in the survival mode, keeps us within our animal instincts. But when we prepare ourselves and allow ourselves to thrive, is when we do justice to being a human. Right? So these two thinkings have to be altered, corrected, and put in place so that we can deal with procrastination the way we need to deal with it and keep it where it should be. It's not as big as we've made it to be. Why? Because we thought that it's not me of today who will do it, and we thought that it's okay to survive. Not everybody has what it takes to thrive. Well, that's true as long as you're not a human. Because if you are, then you have everything that you need and that it takes to be successful and to thrive. All right. So with that said, I need you to tell me if you've understood three things. And if you have understood these three things, then say yes, 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 three times in the chat box. Okay. On your behalf, I think what I hear you say is that I now know exactly why I procrastinate. Is that a yes? Then give me a yes in the chat box. The second, I understand how motivation works. If that's a yes, then give me a yes, yes. And the third is, I understand that procrastination comes from flawed thinking. If that is a yes as well, and you understand all these three things, then give me a yes, yes, yes in the chat box. Super, Deepa. Fastest fingers first. Wonderful, wonderful. I love the energy in the room right now. Leaders aren't for survival, but for domination. Absolutely, Hiren. And you are that leader who can show the world around you that that's exactly what you mean. Super. Yes, yes, yes. Yes, we've understood. Awesome. We're all on the same page. We know what procrastination is and what it is not. We know why you procrastinate. And now let's pick up one of these reasons and kill it. Because my promise to you is that you will kill procrastination today. So I'm going to pick any one. Tell me, which one do you want me to pick? Which one reason do you want me to kill today so that you stop procrastinating for that reason? Is it lack of clarity, poor focus, fear, no routine, no urgency, negative environment, or mental overload? Tell me, my live audience, you are the ones who are going to decide what am I picking today to kill and help you to stop procrastinating. All right, let's see. Mental overload, lack of urgency. I want some consensus here, some majority, whatever the majority says, because there is just so much to talk about on each one of these. Okay, let's see. We will probably roll out some podcasts as well on this, right? I hope you're following. SEL Mastermind is our podcast on Spotify. I've already rolled out 45 episodes on that. So please follow me there and also keep sharing what more would you want me to talk about. Okay, focus looks like the winner. Focus is what I see in majority. How do I bring in more focus? How do I manage the many distractions around? Okay, looks like that is the winning reason for now. So here are the three things that I want you to look at when it comes to focus. And again, this is going to be some bit of work at your end. I'm showing you the path, the method to get there. Okay? Focus is lost because of overstimulation, overthinking, and sometimes oversimplification. Overstimulation is when there is a lot of distraction around you. Maybe there is a lot of noise in the environment, maybe too many gadgets to deal with, maybe multiple windows open on your laptop, maybe multiple tasks piled up on your table. Just too much of clutter can create distraction. The second is overthinking. When you are thinking more than you're doing, when you are working on a particular task, you're already thinking about some other task that needs to be done, or some task that could have been done better. So while you are where you are, you're everywhere else other than that place. That's overthinking. And the third is oversimplification. When you think that, oh, this can easily be done and I will do it later, you lose focus on that completely. Because it is so simple, it just keeps sitting in that rack of yours, and you never get to go and pick it up and finish it off once and for all. So let's look at all three of these. Overstimulation. I need you to make a list of three things that adds to this stimulation for you. What are these three things or sources or reasons that adds up to overstimulation for you? And it could be different reasons for different people. For some, it could be a noisy work environment. For some, it could be gadgets on the table. For some, it could be the need to look at every notification, and the notification pop-ups is what stimulates your mind and takes you away from what you need to do. Write down three, and there could be many, but I want you to write down only three. And the moment you make this list, find one simple way to address each one of these three. We know for a fact that there are settings available on your phone where you can stop notifications, but you haven't done that as yet. Do it in this moment right now. You know that if there is a noisy work environment, many things can be done still, but a few things which require you to apply your mind requires a quieter space. Can that be created? Could you book a meeting room for yourself? Could you start later from home? And if home is a more peaceful environment, could you finish some tasks there? Could you stay back later? So after people are gone, could you come in before people come in? You know what needs to be done. You just haven't put your mind to it. You haven't written it down. I need you to write down against your stimulation. What is that one way I can use to address the stimulation and take away the distraction? And you must do it for all three, your top three stimulations that are taking you away from putting in the focus that you need to put. All right, let's come to overthinking. Overthinking is when you lose your ability to be in the present moment. It is the clutter that you create in your head. So, what is it that I need you to do about overthinking? Number one, make a list of all the things that occupy your mind. Number two, rank them in order of priority of how important they are and how they impact your life. And number three, the last step is start addressing them in that order. Rank number one, this is the most important thing. I've been thinking about it. What is it that I can do to fix it? Thinking stops when action begins. Let's remember that. Because if there is no action, thinking will go on forever. To stop the thinking, we need to bring in the action. But on what? If everything looks unfinished, if everything looks important, then I don't know where to start. And that's where making a list brings in more clarity on what is really important and what is not. What out of this is urgently to be addressed, what is not. And that's when you will be able to rank them. Let me allow you here to bring in your personal thoughts and issues as well, because we are one, guys. We are not like some split personality disorder is not our condition, right? Unless that's the case, you are who you are. If you're not okay personally, it's very difficult to bring in that focus professionally, no matter how smart and intelligent you are. And it's true the other way around as well. If things are not okay at in office, you carry it back home. You can practice whatever you may feel like practicing or want to. There will be some carry forward that happens, some spillover that happens from this aspect of our life to that. The practice of mindfulness is what helps us to stay focused on what we need to do. But that mindfulness comes in with clarity. We need to bring in clarity, and that is the antidote for overthinking. The third is oversimplification, something that is too simple and has been pending for a long time. Just pledge to pick that up as first thing in the morning tomorrow. We call it as eat the frog, right? It's a very famous expression, and it has been used very well, and in fact exploited to some extent. In forums when priorities are talked about, time management is talked about. I think eating the frog is a very good strategy to be done with what you know you can easily do, but you haven't done for that reason. It's easy, so I'll do it later. But you know it's important. You know you're procrastinating on that. Just do it first thing tomorrow morning or first thing now. And that's the only way to deal with oversimplification. All right. So, with that, let's conclude today's live. I know there is a lot more that we can talk about. There are many other reasons we can go deeper into. But for now, let's end the discussion here. Thank you once again for joining me live. I would love to hear from you. What more do you want me to talk about? What are your questions that I can answer? What are some of the topics I could take on my podcast, which is called SCL Mastermind on Spotify? What could be some of the topics you want me to take in my subsequent live sessions? Would love to know from you guys. We are connected on WhatsApp with most of you. Please feel free to write to me an email as well if you wish to. Yukti@sbyacademy.com is my email address. Let's stay connected, guys. Let's keep learning and let's keep growing. Would love to know what you're taking away in the chat box. And with that, I wish you all a beautiful and peaceful evening ahead. Thank you so much, guys. Would love to see you next Tuesday, same place, same time. Thank you all. God bless you.